Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. O. Welcome to the Black Marriage and Family Therapy Matters podcast, where we connect Black families to Black therapists. Today's guest, Today's guest is Tish. Hi, Tish.
Hello, how are you doing today? How are you doing, Dr. Maury?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here today.
Good. So if you don't mind, if you give me a second, I would like to introduce our guest to you. Is that okay?
That'd be great. Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. This is Tish. Tish is a relationship coach who works exclusively with men. With years of experiences helping men navigate the complexities of relationships, Tish has developed a deep understanding of the unique challenges that men face when it comes to love, intimacy, and communication. In addition to Tish's work as a relationship coach, Tish is a pharmacist with a focus in mental health. That's exciting. So you got to tell us more about that. Tish has extensive knowledge of mental health and its impact on relationships, and it allows her to provide clients with a holistic approach to improving their love lives. Tish's style is based on a blend of evidence-based research, real-world experience, and compassionate guidance. Tish believes that every man has the potential to build strong and fulfilling relationships, and she is committed to helping her clients unlock that potential. Whether her clients are struggling with communication, intimacy, or any other relationship issue, Tish is here to help. Tish's goal is to empower her clients with tools and insights that they need to create the happy, healthy relationships that they deserve. Please join Tish today as she talks more about what she does. Wow. Wow. So tell us. First, let me just say, I can't help but notice that you are a beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yes. And you are too. This is awesome.
Thank you.
This is chocolate heaven.
Chocolate, what? But unlike me and unlike our other guests, first, I've never had a pharmacist on the show, so that's great. I want to know more about that. And two, I want to know more about what got you into working with Black men.
Gotcha.
That's rare. I mean,
yes,
it's just very rare. So let's start with the pharmacist, and then let's go with the Black men in coaching.
Okay. So I'm a pharmacist. Been a pharmacist for over almost 30 years. Almost 30 years.
You are kidding me. So I won't disclose too much, but you just told me you had a kid in college.
Yes, I have a kid in college.
I would have never.
My creams, honey, my creams.
Yes, girl. Yes, you're going to tell me about those creams.
Yes, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I've been in a pharmacy ever since I've been 16 years old, actually, as a pharmacist technician. So I've been doing this for a long time. Went to school at MUSC in Charleston, South Carolina. So you can hear my Geechee accent.
I hear it.
Some people say I'm from the north because I'm trying to cover it up. But today I have a sister with me. We being real, so I'm going to be authentic.
Yes.
Geechee self today. Not
yes.
Too much, though.
There we go.
Yeah. So been doing it for a while.
We just had a love for medicine. I mean, still like.
To be honest with you, I went into pharmacy because my only two options at 16 years old were to go to work at the local Burger King or work at the local pharmacy.
There you go.
I came from a very small town close to Charleston, South Carolina. So I begged the manager at the pharmacy, please let me work. Please, I promise I'll be a good girl. I'll learn how to do my work. Being 16. So he was like, yeah, whatever. So I just kind of stuck with it. Just, ever since I was 16, that was the only profession I know, the only thing I ever done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you went all the way.
Yeah, just went all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was more like a challenge, just coming from a small town and not seeing any other African American pharmacists, and to be honest with you, I had even though I didn't work with any other African Americans, the pharmacists I did work with, they really pushed, being from a small town and everything, they really just, understood the country girl in me, and they just really pushed me to move forward, and gave me all of the help and stuff like that. So, and then my family and stuff like that, they were always into education and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I don't want to perpetuate a stereotype, definitely not on this show, but do you get a lot of Black men? Because we just had issue in our family with a Black man who had an issue. Clearly he had this issue, but didn't say anything about it, waits till the last minute, and it's just completely out of. So I just grew up thinking that Black men don't really monitor their health care like that. Is that what you see, or am I just?
Yeah, it's more so men in general aren't into self-care and healthcare because it's more of a feminine trope.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's more of a society norm. Now, Black men, so anytime you're dealing with race, of course, it's going. You want me to keep going?
You know what? I'm going to pause this.
Yeah, so it's basically a man thing where they see self-care as being feminine, like a feminine thing, as I was saying. But of course, where there's, the issue of race, of course, it's going to be the socio-economic, it's going to be the race factor because of the access, because of the, just be able to have the freedom of mind. As Black people, we don't have that luxury of thinking of every little nuances in our lives.
Correct.
Even though we have bigger problems going on with our health, we trying to just keep our jobs going. We trying to, deal with toxic work culture. On top of it, we trying to, keep our families afloat and stuff of that nature. So even though it's a man thing when it comes to not getting the health care that is needed, not doing the proper health care, getting prescriptions.
Yes.
I mean, I do see men where they supposed to get their high blood pressure medication, and because of the money factor.
Yes. I thought, you know what I thought you were going to say? I thought you were going to say because of the sex factor too. Because
I was getting to that.
Okay. We don't want to mess with that.
Right. Yeah. So they'll pick their Viagra over.
Oh, they can get that one.
Yeah, they gonna get that, but they don't understand the fact of if they take care of their high blood pressure, they probably won't have the issue that's causing the need for the Viagra in the first place. That's why I'm here to kind of bridge the communication gap and give the agency of, listen, guys, especially my men, because I was like, listen, okay, you have that high blood pressure,
Right.
If you want your wanker to work properly, let's take care of the problem first. Let's get to the underlying root cause of the problem.
Yeah. I love it. What role, and we'll probably go into this next, transition into your work with Black men and culture, but what role does marriage play into this? Because I hear that men who are married have higher probabilities of going to get checked out and getting the treatment that they need, more or less, because they have someone to live for, or is it that we're always on our men, like, go to the doctor, what's that?
I mean, marriages bring structure. Okay, whenever you don't have structure in something, you have chaos. So marriage brings structure. The men who are married, they're the ones with making the most money, they are the healthiest ones, and they're the happiest ones. So it's just that whole structure of having a marriage, having a unit. We weren't brought here to be alone. Even back in the Stone Ages, we were always in pairs. The woman to be protected and the woman to look after the men, to do things while the men out hunting and do what they need to do. Kept the home. So we weren't designed to be alone. So marriage is, like I tell the men that I work with, marriage is everything. Work on your marriage, keep things going, because working at a pharmacy, I see so many times two things. One, when a man isn't married and they get older, because I've been doing this for a while, so if I'm in a location long enough, I'll see the progression of they're big and good, and then all of a sudden they're down, and then it's still worrying about Viagra. Like, stop, worry about something else. And then two, I see where they were married and the wife should happen to pass away first or something, and you could tell that wife was really their foundation, because they are just mentally they're gone, physically they're not taking the medications anymore, they just don't care, and they just look ratted, and you just tell they're just lost. But what I have noticed with the women who lose their husbands early, they seem to thrive, because I hate to say, because the men, because they don't practice the self-care for themselves, and the women are pouring so much into the husband, it sucks the woman resources. So this is all the things I've noticed. I mean, right or wrong, but that's from my observation, and that's what I've seen in my 30 years of being in a pharmacy. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean,
have you noticed that the men die?
From a clinical perspective, it's sad because I always wonder, you know, I think from behavioral health exclusively, and I know that men tend to benefit more from marriage in general, whether it's healthcare, whether it's having a clean house, whether it's having somebody take care of your children. They benefit more than women. We actually invest more, like we give more, like it's more. But the irony is, because I work with people generally on the earlier stages, trying to get them married and trying to explore the relationships and stuff like that.
Right.
Men are a lot more reluctant to get married. So I'm like, you the one getting all the benefits. Why are you up here? I gotta see. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. You know?
Right. Right. I think because of feminism, be honest with you, just like listen, I'm a feminist, so let me just clarify that 100%. But anything that is good, just like, you know, masculinity, is nothing wrong with that, but there's also toxic masculinity. So there's also toxic femininity. Right.
Because
so, you know,
feminine to be aggressive. Like, unless you're trying to come for my children. You know, you come for my children. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I might fight in other areas too. But we talk about it inside joke. But overall, you know what I'm saying? I get you. Like, you can be a powerful, assertive, strong-willed Black woman that submits to her husband, and it's
okay. It is okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
It depends on what you want. Like, you know, I tell some women, do you want to be right or do you want results? It's as simple as that. Do you want to be right or do you want results? You know, as in if I'm trying to give you my perspective on how you want, and I don't really, you know, I don't coach women anymore, but it just depends on what your results are. You know, what your results, do you know, so what you look right, that doesn't necessarily make it right, but what is it right for your situation? Doesn't make it conducive, doesn't make your husband, not any man, but your husband respond to you in the marriage. What long as it's within reason, because, you know, like anything, things can get out of check if you spoil it, of course. So do you want to be right or you want results?
and what can you say about, you want to be right, you want the results, but what about when the person you need to have results with also wants to be right, and he's now physically stronger than you, and he's more like that toxic masculinity that you were just talking about? Like, can you speak a little bit more to if you want that submissive, docile side of us, how does a man show up so that he can get that?
That's what I love to tell.
Is that a whole nother podcast?
This is the thing, and you know, we're speaking about our brothers, of course, but this is across with men across the board. Okay. If you want a woman to show up a certain way, don't worry about her. Okay? How you gonna show up? Okay. How are you gonna show up? Because what internal shifts can you make to get the results you want? Because you can't control your woman. You can't control another person, but you can control how you want things to go. So, and my main quote I like to say now is, if you want a great relationship, you have to start off with being a great person. So you can't be a toxic person and want healthy, loving, great results. Okay, that's just all to it. So you have to have self-awareness. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of what you want, certain toxic behaviors coming on to you. It's just like I said, do you want to be right or do you want results? You know, you want to be right in your own head, or you want to get the results that is healthy and whole for the whole family, and you will be happy in return.
Absolutely. So, and that is probably what's going to get us more into our kind of more talking about Black men in general, because I don't get the impression that they typically even think or are aware that what they're doing is part of the problem. And I'm not excusing our behavior either, but because the specialty is on Black men,
men are the foundation.
Yeah, but they're the
foundation. The buck, I don't know how you feel.
I absolutely.
But I don't know, but the buck to me, in my world, stops with the man. I believe that the man comes first, after God, man. Okay, I'm not sure.
I do. I agree.
Okay, there's a lot of women.
My therapist won't, but I do. Yeah.
God, man, woman, or the wife, and then the children. Okay, so that's why I work with the men, because I feel like I have a gift to really communicate in a way where they don't find it threatening, but it's in a way where they're not going to dismiss me either, because I'm just trying to get you the results that you desire. Okay, a woman, we will give you the world. Yes, we will give you the world. We will get our men see how they can almost get the world without having to marry us. Absolutely. So just do the right thing, and it's not about marrying. It's about your mindset. Okay, so it's not about marrying a woman and giving her the benefits. It's about marrying a woman and building your legacy. Okay, so what do you want? You have to think ahead. A woman is a part of your legacy. We're the ones going to give you that freedom of mind to go out and conquer the world. We're going to give you that freedom of mind because we're at home taking care of your children, or we out working, we're still keeping home. But it's all about so I think our core problem with our men not really big in getting married, they're not legacy minded, to be completely honest. And you have to be legacy minded to see the benefits and the joys and the love of having that woman in your life.
Now, let me ask you, is this the man's fault? Of course, at some point we do have to take responsibility for ourselves, but we also know that a lot of these men are growing up without fathers in the home. Yeah. Their fathers are in the criminal justice system, some of their fathers are deceased, some of them just left them. So it sounds like, I'm just hearing you speak. I'm hanging on every word of it. I agree with every word of it. But it does seem heavy, especially for someone who does not know what you're talking about looks like. They've never seen it.
That's a good point, because I came from a 2-parent home. And so that's how I know and have the strength that I have. That's why I can speak firmly on the fact that it's God, husband, man. Now, don't get it twisted. I made a lot of mistakes. I've been married a lot of times. Okay. Even though I came from a 2-parent home, I saw my father as, because I came up when, women were given that pushback, we're not putting up with no crap. And as a young person, I misinterpreted those movements and those mindsets. And women, that's why there were, it was the feminist movement, because we needed equality, okay? But if you hear a certain narrative, you'll think is toxic. So I thought maybe my dad was just trying to override that new wave of women supposed to, I just felt like he had too much control of the relationship. Right. And what I realized was it was protection, and I realized from my relationships, because I had good men, but that were married to, but they didn't have the fathers. So they didn't really know how to be a husband. So back to my point and back to your point, your question of, how do you know what you just don't know and you never seen? Right. Okay, so is it our fault? Is it the man's fault? It's really no one's fault unless you don't take the time to do the education. It's all about back to the mindset. What do you want? I didn't want to be that trashy woman that goes out and have a million husbands, even though I came from a better environment. So you have to take the time to know what's right and wrong, where you want your legacy to go with your life, and then learn and build from that point. Wow. So for our men who not wanting to have the legacy, not wanting the wife, even though they didn't have a father figure, it's still there. Where are your mindset at? What do you want with your life then? So I still blame it on the men, because where's your mindset? What do you want in life? If you don't have a structure and where you want to go, you can't. Is that a woman's fault? I also gonna blame the women too, though, because we have to be accountable for all the crap we put up with. Absolutely. All of the things that we want. If we're not getting married, okay, yes, the man controls the marriage factor in asking us to get married, but we need to understand. You said what now?
Why you got 3 kids with him? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's shown you that that's not what he's trying to do. If that's what you want, why are you tolerating it?
Right, exactly. So why are we tolerating all of these anti-marriage behaviors if we want to get married? Okay, so just like I teach, tell my men with guidance, how if you put up with a woman treating you toxic or cursing you out all the time, how are you showing up? You putting up with it, right? So we why not? Why she not gonna keep doing it if she's been doing it? Same thing with us. If we want marriage, then we need to do things, right or wrong, they need to be boxed in, have structure, have boundaries, standards, have expectations. And as women, as Black women, I don't think we have enough of that because of we weren't really not raised, but from slavery. I hate to say everything's kind of based from slavery.
It's from that. We can just wipe the slate clean, My grandmother, I think of it all the time before she died about a little over a decade ago. She tell me about her grandmother who actually was a slave. So we talk about this like this is forever and forever ago.
No, it's not that long ago.
Yeah, like I know somebody who knew a slave that they were close to and cared about. So
right. I mean, yeah, but as Black women, we've done a beautiful job of loving ourselves and finding ourselves to be absolutely beautiful. And that's what our men need to do for themselves as the guys. They need to do the same thing that we were able to do.
And thank you. And that's what I wanted to bring, kind of go into next, because unlike you, I came from a divorce, a household of divorce. So my parents were not together they were on and off, but but my dad, like you, he was very aggressive. You said yours was protective. I think you have something.
The word is aggressive too. Yeah. Okay. let me clarify. There was some toxicity, but he has grown, and I appreciated that. Now, if he stayed on that one speed growing up, then but he took the time to grow, and as humans, we all evolve and grow if we want to.
Better with time.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So that's why I came back around. Yeah, you're right. I need to clean it up.
Okay, clean that up. Well, on the flip side, though, my mom was very passive. So for me, it put a very bad taste in my mouth. I want to say, just for the nuclear relationship, like the fact that I have this ideal marriage with 2 children is actually a miracle, because I didn't want anything as a child to do with it. And I recognize, just in hearing you talk, I did see the brokenness in Black men. Like I knew, and without being oversharing, I knew that my dad's behavior was coming from a place of hurt. Advantage of people because they're smaller or weaker, or something wrong with you. I could even pick that up as a child. But the message it sent me was, I don't want to be like my mom. I love her to death. She's great. She's awesome. But I didn't want to be, like that. And so when I first started dating, I made talking about mistakes and talking about just the learning curve.
Right.
Yeah. So
I went through the same thing. Yeah. I've been married 3 times.
Yeah.
I went through a learning. And because of the dynamic between my mom and my father, but also because of the dynamic of my mother and father, I came back full circle because they've grown. Because I've seen them grow, So
I hope the people who are hearing this can say one thing. I want to give both of my parents credit for. Okay? If they're in a situation like this, or if they're parents, or if they did. So first of all, even us, we are going to ruin our children in some way, shape, or form. Like your children are older than mine, but even mine will tell me, "Well, mommy, you did it," or any opportunity. Like we're not perfect people.
Right, we're not.
Both of my parents let me know that they had made mistakes, and that
helps.
Oh my, it was so healing, because they would say, "That's not right. I shouldn't have done that," or "I shouldn't have let that happen," or you know what I mean?
Right, that helps.
But it was so healing, because I could say, okay, this happened because my parents were not perfect, not because that's the way it's supposed to happen, or that
same thing.
Yeah,
my mom would say the same thing. She would be like, me and your dad, we may have done this or that, but I just want you to know it wasn't right. that made me see them from, like you saying, a human perspective, and that did change the trajectory of my mindset. Even though my mom told me this as I gotten older, but because when we're as children growing up, we thinking everything's supposed to be status quo. We're a little more stringent, we're a little more rigid. It's supposed to be like this. What's wrong with you? But as we get older, we make mistakes. We're like, hold on. What about my parents? And my mom was a little girl once, so maybe that's why she reacts the way she does. My dad, he was a little boy once, maybe, so everything just comes full circle, it really does. So, but taking the time to learn and to give perspective and introspective to situations, that's where you have to do it. That's where the work is, and that's what we do as women. As the guys need to do. And maybe is that a part of, you're into the clinician part of it, is that a part of self-care? That mindset, getting into that mindset.
I would assume so. I mean, I don't work a lot with men, but
no, just in general,
yeah, I would say so. But you have to have the insight to see it, and I think our both genders really have been so inundated with the pressures and the demands of survival. I mean, back in the day, I don't know when I was growing up, but I don't even know if my dad had the time to think about how to be emotionally available for his family. I don't think he could have handled it. I mean, maybe he could have, softened his tone the way he talked to us a little bit, but, he had an addiction that he's battling, and then he had, work, and then he had other barriers, family. I mean, I don't, and I'm not making excuses, but I'm just
crap. Yeah. There's so much crap that's been passed down. That was passed down. Be honest with you, we never had a time where we can relax and have a family. It was always about surviving. And I'm not into excuses per se, but I just feel like it is what it is. In other communities, they get to, say that we have a genetic of mental health and issues and blah, blah, blah. So why can't we have that too? But as African Americans, we can't have that. We have to start from day one. And okay, what's wrong with you day one? No, what about day, negative years ago, centuries ago, So our dynamic is different, but with the platforms like yours, platforms like mine, we have opportunities to learn and grow. And, and we have more economic opportunities where we can make our own way, like you and me are doing, so we can have the freedom to think, to have the clarity of mind to think certain things and grow.
Perfect. I just want to make sure we let our audience know that I am going to get into what you do as well, because I want them to be able to find you when we're off, when you're off of this show.
Oh, you're fine. I'm enjoying this, honey.
Okay. Awesome. If you could just come up with one thing, like if nothing else, our listeners can take from this show, what would it be?
What I already said, in order to be a great person, I have a great relationship, just be a great person. I notice that people aren't aware of themselves. They're just stop, focus, get your center, and be aware of who you are as a person and how you can make yourself a better person. And if you start with that will literally help with every other aspect of your life. Also, I know you mentioned with your father, going through addiction. I've gone through addiction myself because I had open heart surgery and stuff like that. And, just in being on pain pills and stuff like that. And so it's just all about taking the time to just digging deep. Just digging deep and be aware of yourself and to grow from it.
Love it. So I wonder, and I don't know if as a pharmacist or a coach, if this is within your scope of practice, but I hear you talking about this very great ideal with respect to know thine own self, be true, to thine own self, be true. Basically, know yourself, be a better. But what I've noticed, see, our culture, if we really want to be real with it, and I'm more connected than a lot, my husband's African, so, we're naturally more artistic, and and more creative and more and we're getting out there and we're doing things that we weren't necessarily taught or trained in school to be able to connect. But we're in this Eurocentric world where, to some degree, even I'm battling myself. We're told that our creative ambitions, it's great, but it's not math, it's not science, it's not evidence-based.
I mean, is that true though? I mean, from our history, we came up with the mathematics.
Hello.
Yeah, so
loving this stuff, that part. But I'm hearing you say that the more aware a person is of themselves, it sounds like they need to tap into that. So that's what I was going to ask. Like, do you have any suggestions? That I know I am clear right now. I have incense. Well, this is a candle, but sometimes I do an incense. I'm a little nasal, so I don't do that. But when I'm writing, I have my, my journals and my I need these things to be functional, and that's what helps me to be clearer on who I am and show up in the world the best way. What tools do you suggest that our community taps into that they can use to make sure that they're doing that? Because it is hard when you got to be at work by 9, you wake up at 8, get the kids ready out the door by 8:30. You don't have any type of routine. Everything's structure. Everything is, you don't really. Just what can you speak to this? I mean,
right.
To have clarity.
Yeah, I mean, just working with a lot. I mean, just like you working with a lot of different people, and and growing up doing the same profession and just seeing how people just progress or whatever like that. Just having what I noticed, people don't have a foundation. They don't have a baseline foundation. So like with me, I'm very spiritual based. I'm Christian based. Everything is, so that's my anchor. That's where I built up from. So everything, I'm always communicating with God throughout the day. Even when I do naughty things, which I do, clearly having blonde hair, I like to do naughty things sometimes. Wild things.
Naughty.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, listen, I'm too old to be having blonde hair like this. Anyway, besides the point, this is clearly midlife crisis. But just even when I'm not doing my best, I am communicating with God, like, okay, I know I should, but that gives me a foundation of being self-aware. Okay, a lot of people, they just shooting from the hip. So even if you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't believe in whatever, have some type, if you want to believe in meditation or whatever. Like I said, my first choice could be Christianity, of course, but I'm a little biased. But you have to have some type of, core. Everything should not come from the hip. It should come from the gut. No in the gut, in the heart, but come from the gut first, because the heart can be deceitful, as it says in the Bible. But yeah, people don't have foundation. So where do you reach deep from? Where do you come from? Like, what are your mind? So you're swayed by media, you swayed by an opinion, you swayed by a feeling. But when you have a core foundation of whatever that is, then you have some type of barometer of staying in the middle. So that's why I always suggest to people, have your strong foundation, and just pick whatever you think it is, and stick with it and work it from the gut. Always just everything from that.
Are you familiar with the Bible app on the phone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. And this, a lot of our clientele actually is Christian too. I mean, yeah. But what I was going to say about it is, what I like about it is that it gives you a devotional. Well, I thought about it because it doesn't take a lot of time. I know
it doesn't. Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. Like if it's going to be very hard or difficult, then I'll be like, I can't do it. But if you want to just spend some alone time with God, 5 minutes, you can get through one of those devotionals, read a couple of scriptures, and then journal if you want. So it doesn't take, it's like you have to spend an hour. Just get up at 7:55 instead of 8, start like that. And
right.
Or maybe then do 10 minutes or something. Or if it's not the journal, it can be just journaling. It doesn't have to be the app. Why don't you just get a meditation? YouTube has all types of meditations that you can do and do guided, but something like you said, to be centered and in your core, so that when you show up, you're the best person that you can be. You're not your trauma, you're not your abuse, you're not your parents, you're not what's circumstance, whatever's happening to you right now, but you are an evolved person. I fully agree with that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just be, self-aware, and it takes practice being a good person. To be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, I would love to just do all kind of crazy stuff. I just really, really well. But I just really, really well. Okay. I mean, but that's just me being human and being honest. You have to train yourself to consistently be. I don't know if that's a bad thing to say. I'm just being honest. This is a lot of things as human. It's just not It's more normal to have like 5, 6 different women or whatever that men like to do. They try to say is nature, but it takes structure and it takes understanding and being self-aware to know where you want to be, as in having your legacy, to have that one woman. As an example, just like with women, we may want to have like 5, 6 men trick off on us or whatever like that. I'm hypergamous, and the men give, and I receive it. So and why not receive it from 5 different men? But it takes self-control to be a good person.
That is what separates us from the animal kingdom. Okay, we have the ability, first of all, for enhanced communication.
Exactly.
About moral and ethical reasoning.
There you go. Perfection.
Than the animal kingdom. So I don't like that scenario either. But I'm glad you mentioned it, because that took me to the next point. I wanted to ask you a question. I was treating this client. This is a black male that I was treating. And he was cheating on this girl. I mean, I'm talking about, you name it, he was doing it. Okay, and it won't be her. You know what I'm saying? And to be hearing it, I just was like, wow. I can't believe like she's putting up with this and whatever. And he was like, no, she's not. She's not putting up with it. She's leaving me, and I'm devastating. I don't know what to do. He's just ball. I mean, I've never seen. He was a very, very toxic, masculine. Like this masculine energy you're talking about, he 110%.
Yeah, he was confused.
Yes, confused. Is that what it was?
He was confused. Well, I would be confused too. I mean, she was putting up with it, so why leave now? I'm joking. I'm just joking.
Well, you think that's what it was? Because did you think he just thought he could keep doing it?
What it was part of society norms. It probably came from his father, then his father, and then his father. So he probably came from a culture of that.
He was hurting. He was struggling.
Yeah.
I kind of understood it to be, I don't think she would just let it happen. I mean, it did. Like, he told me stuff that she didn't know. So she didn't know everything, but she knew stuff that she was like, this needs to stop. And he knew it needed to stop. Even I knew. And so I wasn't surprised when she left. I was like, I knew she was going to leave you.
Right. But yeah, so he obviously had like an underlying issue of why did he perpetually cheat? Why do you keep cheating? What is your problem? What do you need to feel to keep doing what you're doing that you're not getting? But at the same time, see, that's why I can't work with women, because y'all would hate me. But as a woman, like, I don't know. It's like, how do you not be in tuned enough with your man to have a like perpetual cheating going on? So that goes back to self-awareness, because you can't be aware of someone else if you're not aware of your own self. I mean, now some people are just a piece of crap. That's just all to it. You know what I'm saying? But for him to come to you and want help, now that's a good thing. So that was a good thing. So, because most men just be like, I just get another chick. I just keep it pushing, and they can get it.
Yeah, I guess because I've heard this so many times about men cheating, chronically, and women leaving, that just being on the recipient to actually see the type of pain that this man, there was such a disconnect. Like, he had no recollection. I mean, he knew he didn't like that she was cheating, but I mean, he was heartbroken. You would have thought somebody died in his life. Like, it was so hard to watch, because I'm like, this man, he has no clue.
Unless he's just a hardcore narcissist and he was going through a narcissist breakdown because she got tired of it and realized he was a narcissist. Maybe her therapist was like, girl, he's a narcissist. You gotta keep pushing.
Why, man? Because that just went over my head. He probably was a narcissist.
Society is trying to shame us from accepting the narcissism factor, but it is a real thing. I mean, I think it can be solved. I think not anyone is above reproach or above learning to be better. But yeah, I think it's a real thing. I mean, we all have it in us, but how magnified we let it ring out, that's a different story. But it sounds like he's just a stone cold narcissist for him to be reacting and having a whole disconnect. And, he tried to manipulate and do all the things and it's not working. So he's like freaking out. And now he's trying to recruit someone to be an advocate, but that's good. He's getting help though, because most
in on it. I'm like,
can you help me get her back so I can keep doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not gonna stop till I can help it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going on. Like, okay.
So funny. I'm glad I hope our guests see that, because I think whether it's a therapist or a pharmacist or just mental health in general, I think there's a stigma that we're just these stuffy, stuck up people who just,
right.
But no, we actually really are human just like you all. I mean, I told you them I came from a broken home. You admitted that you had, multiple marriages, things like that. Like we're not perfect. Like we come with our own stuff and we laugh about it and joke about it and grow through it and and
it's live. I mean, listen, what is you gonna do? You're still living, so make the best out of it. Yes, you're going through crap. So what they say, what's the percentage? 70% of us gone through trauma in our lives. But my question is, who's the other 30% who haven't gone through trauma? Who those 30%? But besides the point,
what you talking about?
You know what I'm saying? But so we all gone through it. I mean, I've never gone through anything deep that you have experienced with your clients and stuff, but we have one life. Let's just make the best out of it. And I think I didn't finish my thought process earlier with, whenever you focus on other people or focus on a purpose, that really is healing. It really is. Just like you have a purpose and you're focusing on it and that's helping you grow and, get all of the stuff that you've gone through, whatever. That's the same thing with me. I mean, I dare want to find love again or whatever, but a lot of people are like, girl, you already been married 3 times. What's wrong with you? It's like, okay, I guess I made a mistake. I made mistakes, but I still, but my purpose keeps me with the art of wanting to keep forward, and I do have something to offer, and I am a good person. I made bad mistakes, but I'm still a good person. I'm aware of myself.
Yeah. I haven't gone out on this with the show yet, but I will by the time this is released. So we were talking earlier about even my incarceration, just as a example, like people make mistakes and they have to deal with them. But the point is, who would we be if we were to be in a bad situation or less than ideal? Because these situations aren't even necessarily bad. A divorce, okay, like
right,
like incarceration, okay, it's
life. So what? You're alive. You're still alive. What you gonna do?
Continue to show up, and we expect that those that are listening to us and are following us, if we can do it, y'all can too.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? What else you gonna do?
Yeah.
Be miserable, and but serve other people. Find something else to do. Like we were talking about the homeless. That's how I started my journey out of my addiction to opioids at the time or whatever, and I'm a pharmacist, and that was, that was very the worst thing in the world.
Yes. Oh my.
But I focused on homeless, the homeless. I focused on serving others, and that made me not care what people think. That made me care about, I want the best for myself and I deserve it, because we can just see how life can just go and people just cannot pick themselves up, and it's so sad. It is so sad to work with the homeless and see that as women, as Black women too, how many stories I've heard, how they started off with the guy promised them the world, and then like this one gentleman of a homeless woman literally dropped her and her kids off at the central point of homeless people, and it's like, I'm not doing it. And now she's homeless with kids. You know what I'm saying? And how can you pick yourself up back from that? So it's easy to, I can say it, you can say it, and we had the strength, but some people just don't have that strength, but if you have that, just build up that core of self-awareness and wanting to serve with a purpose, somehow that connects you to this, that connects you to that connects you to this, and it builds you back up to where you can be to a point where you can serve others yourself.
That's so beautiful. All right. can you think of, do you have an example of, I like to ask for 3 resources, but if it's too much, just one, just something that we can point our Black families, our Black men to help this situation? Is there a book, podcast, or you can tell us about your show?
Definitely. Yeah, my podcast, I'm just starting, or I do coaching as well, my Instagram page. But just, I just love the fact that we're both very aware of the Black family. And, it's beautiful. It's, why we don't have to be fragmented. We don't have to, I love my Black man. I love them as they, just like, you get on my nerves, but, I love them, I love my sisters. I see my sisters, so just in general, start off, like I said, with a foundation, get your foundation. Because, because there's a lot of podcasts out there. There's a lot of Instagram pages. There's a lot of organizations, that might not gel with you. It may send you down the wrong path. But if you have your own strong foundation and core, with your Christianity or your own meditation, but always keep learning. Always keep growing. Don't stay stagnant.
Yeah. Because, with me, hopefully, I know some of the people listening to us have been incarcerated, but there are many who, I just hope you never do, but being incarcerated is all about taking your spirit and taking your joy and just really feel like you are not anything, like you have no self-worth or dignity. And I will say that knowing myself is part, I don't know how people get through it if they don't.
Right. And especially let me ask you this, how did you get through that? Being an educated woman, and it wasn't easy. Oh. I know what you went through was not easy. You are a doctor. It's not like you went through, the same plight as a white woman would have gone. You had to go through some extra navigating. You had to go, I get it, because I had to go through this extra navigating here you're just a quota, or, all of that crap that comes with that. Okay. Yeah. So they'll fight through all of that, and then be in a situation where you had to.
Girl.
Okay, how did you use that phone?
Myself, this is temporary. I'd actually tell them, and they wouldn't like it because then that was considered disrespectful or defiant, whatever. I think they use the word obstinate. I'm like, okay, you can't even spell obstinate, but whatever. Like, don't come for me. But it really was me, and that's with any circumstance that you're in, though. I told myself the same thing when I was in labor, and I thought I was gonna die because I thought my son was gonna bust my body open. Right. I said, this is temporary. This is going to end. This is going to end. And so I was telling myself the same thing. And to be honest with you, and I'm going to talk about this more when I come out with Prison Journey, because I'm going to go all into, how this experience has helped me to be a better person. Mm-hmm. But you just have to do it. You just can't really, you know what I mean? You just have to know who you are. You just have to. And this is why I like what you're bringing to the table, because preparing for incarceration or going through a divorce or being targeted at your job, whatever it is, it's a lot harder to find yourself in those seasons. Not saying that you can't, but it's harder.
Right, it is.
If you didn't already know. See, my whole life has been centered around having a strong identity. Even to my daughter now, we do affirmations. We pray. She journals. She keeps a journal. She writes. And I remember one time I called her from incarceration. I stayed where Martha Stewart was. It's called Camp Cupcake. It was minimum. But when I called, she says, "Mommy, I sensed that it was you." And I was just so impressed with that. So I'm like, all your senses, like she's aware. I really want my audience to see, even if you are going through a hard time, we're not saying that it's late. We're not saying that you can't start, but but start, because whatever you're going through now, it will end, and then you'll go, you know what I'm saying? So get the practice so that when the FBI does knock on your door, or when, you are going through a divorce, or when you're having whatever issues you're having, you are prepared.
Right.
That is
or like addiction. Like, I'm a pharmacist. I didn't expect to have an addiction. I mean, I studied addiction and how, what I'm saying? Right. If I didn't know who I was, I could have been down that rabbit hole big time. That's the only thing that kept my head on straight. That is the only thing.
A book that can teach you, there's not a degree that can teach you.
No.
There's nothing like your own self-awareness.
That's nothing. It's nothing. And no one can take that. Well, they can't take it away from you, but it's yours to keep. So you got to hold on tight to it.
They took it away. They tried to.
They tried to.
Yeah, they tried to. That was their job. So that's a prime example. I really wish my husband was here to talk a little bit more about this. But one thing he does, because I know we're trying to help the Black men, and I know sometimes the Black men struggle with this. One thing he does, and I admire him, he even gets on me because I like to talk. I'm a chatterbox. Every morning, rain, sleet, snow, shine, whatever. First of all, he has a man cave. But he also just goes outside. He goes outside, and if I come in there like complaining about the kids or the job or whatever it is, he'll listen. But I even know this is my husband's alone time. I don't know what he's doing out there, but it is something that is between him and his maker.
Right.
And that's a way, to me, it's a masculine, I don't expect him to be journaling. Not saying that men can't journal, but I don't do it that way, but he does take a stand on the importance of investing back into himself.
Right, great.
And I think that, if there are Black men listening now wondering how they can incorporate that, something as little as that I believe it makes a difference. I can tell when he has not had that break to himself.
Right. And that's so good as a wife, because I hate to say as women, and it's not just Black women, this across the board, we don't want men to have those times. We nag them during those times, and then we wonder what's wrong, like why are they so angry, or just like we need our girl time, we need our we time, we need our time, when it's our time to month, so we automatically get our little self-care, leave us alone time.
yeah
Everyone knows to leave us alone during that time, but men, their calendar is wide open whenever we can bother with them. So it was so good as a wife, because you don't understand. Well, you do understand. You understand more than me.
Yeah.
You're so cute. You're so, no, so cute.
I didn't come out knowing. I was like, "What you doing?"
Where's your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I love that. I really do love that. I mean, because you're self-aware, and because you full with yourself, you don't have to go out and get full off for him. He can fill himself up, and y'all can come back together for your children. Absolutely. And that's the main thing. As Black families, we're doing it for our children. Right. When mommy and daddy is happy, it helps our children out. Okay, so instead of having all the fragmented homes and stuff, build the family together, build up our legacy, build up, and that's where we get our finances. And that's how we are more powerful as a community, as a people, and to be taken seriously. Not to go on another type of trope, but as a community, we are not being taken seriously because we don't have the capital, the money, the currency or whatever. I'm trying to think of the word to keep, to be taken seriously. And that is what it is.
That's what it is.
Whatever. And we can't do that without the Black family. Without the Black family, we don't have the
biggest consumers ever,
Yeah, we are. So the money is there.
We buying stuff. Yeah.
Right. The money is there, but what we doing? We giving it to other communities. But that's because we don't have, our community is fragmented because we don't have that family structure like we should. And it's not our fault. Listen, whatever people try to say, slavery was a real thing.
Absolutely.
And just like anything that can be genetically passed down the line, that also has been passed down to the line. But now we have social media, we have podcasts, we have organizations like yours, like mine, and we can be aware and to move forward. The word is legacy. Build our communities up. Men, marry us. Women, let's not nag our men. let's just work together and just have this amazing life, amazing communities. We're beautiful people. We are beautiful, and we're fun. You and me just met. We having fun.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay, we do need to transition. Well, real quickly, I want to ask this really quick question because I don't know the answers to this. Is there a myth or something that you can think about in our community that you'd like to just debunk about Black marriages, Black families, Black men?
That's deep. That's a good question. What can I debunk? That we don't appreciate family. I mean, we do appreciate family.
Ooh.
And we came, and not all of us came from fragmented homes. I came from a good family. I came from a mom and dad. You say your parents were together, but you still can speak of your father. He was still present. I mean, divorces is not in our communities, it's across the board. So, that we appreciate family. We appreciate it, and we know what it's about, and we would love our community. Yeah, I mean, really don't have a really good answer to that.
That was I think people see our low marriage rates and our low success rates and think that it's because I actually found that in my dissertation as well. So that is some kind of research. We think that we don't want it. No, we do want it. We don't.
Right.
We don't have the skills. We don't have the research. We don't have the tools. We don't know how to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to transition to a part of the show. It's called What's Good. And what
okay.
I'll give you a hypothetical situation. And
oh, God.
Yes.
Okay, this is fun. Okay.
All right. So meet Joseph.
Okay.
Okay. Joseph is a 40-year-old man.
Okay.
He has 2 children with his wife.
Okay.
These children he had in his 20s. So they've been around for a while, but Joseph has a pattern of infidelity. Very similar to the person I was there, but this is a hypothetical person. Recently, the wife received notification that there might be not only an extramarital affair, but a baby. And after, messy, right? So after years and years and years of just dealing with this and just the humiliation of bringing in now a child to the scenario, the wife has decided to end the marriage, and Joseph is devastated. Where would you start with helping Joseph?
Well, I would make him very aware because I love working with the men, but I love working with them because you can be very pragmatic and punch them in the chest. Proverbial punch in the chest. I mean, just be the self-awareness. It's like, it is what it is. Like, what you thought was gonna happen? I mean, like, literally, I mean, you're a clinician, I'm just a coach. So I'm not gonna be as crafty with my words or craft them.
That's not what I said. What you think?
I mean, but it is what it is. So, so what are you gonna do? You can't control her situation, but I will suggest this because from what I'm hearing, she did stick around with the baby. Personally, I always suggest men stay with their wives only for 2 reasons not to. A chronic cheating and chronic domestic abuse. Those are only 2 things. Everything else, I'm like, listen, we're going to ride this till the wheels fall off. I learned from my mistakes. 2 things you don't leave on the table. That's your marriage and that's money. You don't leave those 2 things on the table. Yeah. So I really, from my past experiences and all of my mistakes, I really push for that. For him, if he wants to stand for his marriage, if he wants to fight for his marriage, I would help gut him out. I would start working on his foundational issues on why he's cheating and get to that. And while we're doing that, he can do things to change himself and to make himself more appeasing to the wife. And, if she decides to come back, okay, fine. But the beauty of standing for your marriages, which I do promote a lot, is even if the spouse doesn't come back to you, you still end up being a different type of person because you have to give a certain type of submission. You have to be a different type of person, man or woman, to submit yourself to that process of standing for your marriage. And when I say stand for your marriage, basically I'm saying fight for your marriage. So if he wants to fight for his marriage, I would support him 100%, but I will also make him accountable Like, listen, dude, you did what you did. Don't cry over on spilt milk now. How we're going to move forward? Okay, so what, you do want to stand for the marriage or not? Yeah. Okay, this is what we're going to do. It just depends on what you want to do. If you don't want to stand for the marriage, then we're going to gut you out regardless. But whatever it is, we got to gut them out. And because being a chronic cheater, that's not being a great person.
It's not.
And then all you're going to do is you want to get married again. So you need to clean it out now and not take that crap to some other woman. So while we're here, let's work on that. So that's what I would suggest to him, gutting himself out and get himself right. Regardless.
Love it. Well, Tish, now
let me ask you this before you go. What would you say, being a professional in this? What would you say?
Like you were saying at the beginning, it was, what do you think is going to happen? Even though this is not a client, this actually is somebody else who is a personal relationship. But I've had the beautiful, because at one point I thought maybe the infidelity had stopped, so I was like, oh my God, this is nice. They've got. I mean, it looks good. I mean, I'm not in the marriage, so I don't know. But I just remember being like, what, really? I was really disappointed in the person. So, just being honest. I mean, and sometimes, with men, it's about education. So I think about maybe like my brother, sometimes we have conversations and he'll tell me if I can't talk to my husband about something, he can give me a perspective from a man's point of view.
Right.
I can help from a woman's point of view. When a man cheats on you, I know for men, most of the time, it's because they are, first of all, sexual, just physical. But in this case, I think I also know that he doesn't have a good relationship with his mom, and a lot of stuff is going on with him. But there's some trauma probably. But for women, it just makes us feel like we're the scum of the earth, like we're just nobody, like we're just.
But not to be messy, and this is going to be unpopular, but the men I work with, they want to be good men. But, and I do have a course on this, but when a woman don't have sex for months to years, what you think gonna happen?
That's really education, like we seem to not. I had somebody who just had sex for the purposes of procreation, and once she had them babies, I'm like, so what you think you gonna do?
So I would actually find out too what's going on her. Not that she's at fault at all, but you have to be accountable, man and woman. If you don't have any sex, so I have clients where these women will walk around, don't want the man to cheat, actively checking these cell phones and everything, but won't have sex with them for months to years. Like literally have a client, their wife haven't had sex with them for 6 years. But still checking his phone to make sure he's not doing. So, as women, we don't need sex like that. Okay, whatever. I mean, I do personally, but whatever. Right. That's the point.
This is coming from Christians.
Right. Yeah, because we're self-aware.
Yeah,
but men, sex is spiritual. Sex is a need. Okay, it's not something that they just can shut off. That can be a two-way street. If she's not giving him sex and he sometimes it just makes a man more aggressive and wild out and just get extra crazy with it, and it is.
Use that energy in a good way, like.
Right, what I'm saying? So, but either way, it sounds like he needs some cognitive behavioral therapy too, honey. He need a good deep clean.
Something. Okay, Tish, where can our guests, first of all, you've mentioned the podcast briefly. I know you've got a coaching program. I know you've got Instagram. Tell us information about how our guests can follow you, because I know they're going to want to work with you and know more.
Okay, I hope so. Yes, I have a Instagram page called Men's Relationships and Health. So of course I would love the ladies to come on there because, like I said, I'm a woman first. I'm not one of those women that just put men first. Now I really just want results. I've seen a lot of crap going with men, good and bad, and I just feel like I can really just give the perspective for both ends to get the result, because this is really for us, ladies. If we can get our men right, then we happy, because what is more important than in relationships? What's important than in marriage? I made a lot of mistakes, but I understand that now. What is more important? Marriage is so beautiful, and that's where our communities and our legacies come from, and that's what's good for our children. But anyway, IG page. I also have a podcast that just started called the Men's Relationship and Health. My website is coming up. That's in progress. My number is where you can text me is 704-361-1363. to reach out, and then I can set appointments. I work with men on their health, because sometimes, men just appreciate the fact of, have you gone for your prostate exam? Well, I didn't think about it. And then once you get me on that trail, I'm on your butt.
and they don't else, but we won't. I saw you.
I said, "Whoa, you messed up now, brother, because I'm on that tail, boy, and I will nag you until you get it done." Okay.
We just, when I was saying earlier about a male in our family, same thing, just didn't get on it, and now it's like, whoa.
Or it's like those chronic cheaters. Did you get what about a vasectomy? You know what I'm saying? Not the ones that's married, but the ones that just can't stay with one woman. They don't understand why they don't have a relationship. So and they have all these babies. Get up
with that.
But keep them from having a bunch of babies that they don't want. For those 30-year-old men, that's that just haven't figured out birth control or condoms and stuff like that. They have like 2 kids, but let's not have 3 and you're not married yet. Let's not do that. Let's get a vasectomy at this point. Let's just be real and get with an older woman like me who don't want any more kids. And right. This is what one is going to cat. It's more one away. And that's basically it. That's basically it. So I appreciate you so much. I love your energy. It is hard. I hate to say it's hard to find other woman you can be on the same page on, like out the rip. So we did little testers on each other. But it's just right. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. What's good for the community is always just a clear message. So that's why we can just really talk. And it's all about the Black family. It's beautiful. And like I said, I made mistakes. You made mistakes, but we're still beautiful women. And we're women enough to want to grow. And that's the main thing. Always want to grow and serve others, and that just makes your mistakes just fall off like Teflon.
Yeah. Well, Tish, this has been a pleasure. I wish I could talk to you like forever. But, all good things must come to an end.
Right.
I know that our guests are going to really respond well to you because I'm going to make sure all of your links are in the show notes. Make sure you email them, and we can talk about this later. Make sure you have them though, so I can make sure to put them in the notes for our guests. And is there any final thoughts, conclusions you want to make sure that you let our audience know?
My new slogan is, I have a couple of slogans, but let's make marriages great again.
Yes, make marriages great again. Not that other stuff.
I know, yeah. I'll play on that because what you say?
That's another show.
I even go get a red hat saying that so to freak everybody out. Yes. And the main thing is to have a great relationship. You have to be a great person. Start off with that first. Start off with being a great person, and a great relationship will come because you'll attract the right kind of people. You won't have, and if a crappy person comes, you'll smell it out and you just get rid of it easily because you're a great person and you know what you deserve.
Here we go. I love that. Thank you so much, Tish, for your time. You are a wealth of knowledge, a ball of energy, and just a great inspiration.
I appreciate you, Dr. Omari. I appreciate you so much and everything you're doing and sharing with me.
Thank you. All right. You have a wonderful day. Take care. God bless. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Black Marriage and Family Therapy Matters podcast, where we connect Black families to Black therapists. Since you've listened all the way through, come on in and join the family. If you haven't done so yet, please join our free community where we offer weekly trainings and monthly giveaways. We can be found on Facebook under the Black Marriage and Families Matter Facebook group. And since you're serious about joining our family, we also invite you to join our All In campaign, which signifies your commitment to go all in, not only for yourself, but in helping us reach more people by downloading this podcast wherever you are listening to it, leaving us a review, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. This really helps us reach more people and change more lives. After all, Dr. Martin Luther King once said, we can all get more done together than we can apart. With that said, I want to encourage you to share this episode with just 3 other people who you think might also benefit from our community and what we are offering, with the hopes that all of you can join our All In campaign. When you're done, simply click the link All In Campaign in the bio and receive a free copy of my course entitled Goodbye Toxicity, which is valued at $297. This course will help you to work through some of the difficult experiences that arise in most of our relationships, and it's completely free to you with your commitment to join our All In campaign. We look forward to connecting with you every Monday and Wednesday. Thanks for listening.